Hello there guys and welcome back to my channel for finally another video. I know it's again been weeks and weeks and weeks. I do apologize for it. I won't bore you with the excuses. Some of them are valid, some of them are less so valid. But yeah, I won't bore you with it. Let's just get into today's video. Of course, if you haven't already and you're new to this channel, please be sure to subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. I will try my very best to put out more content on a more regular basis. So if you do, like my content and stuff, please do subscribe. That'd be great. And also drop a like on this video if you're happy to see me back. That'd be brilliant as well. But yeah, let's just get into the video and let's talk about what I want to talk about today. Because, it is the season of uncertainty, if anything. We don't know, is the Premier League going to continue? Is it not? Will it be void? Will it be, will we just go with the standings right now? Will Liverpool be awarded the Premier League title? Will they not? Ligue 1 literally just confirmed. Ligue 1 in France literally just confirmed. Okay, they terminated their league. We knew that about 1 or 2 days ago from when I'm recording this. But now they officially announced that PSG will be awarded the Ligue 1 title. While, I forgot which team it was, but whichever the Ligue 2 is, the second league in France, they will also have a champion and promotion will take place and relegation. Everything is as normal almost, just with less games played. Will that be the case in England? Will we resume the Premier League? Who knows? And also we don't know whether, the transfer window will take place as usual. Will it be pushed onto later in the year or, what will happen there? None of us know. No one really knows anything at the moment. But what we do know is that Chelsea do certainly need some strengthening for the squad for the next season, whenever that next season will start, but we do certainly need some strengthening. And there's been a lot of talk about strikers at the moment. There's been a lot about talk about strikers, and I just thought let's just talk about 2 specific ones. I might mention a couple of others there as well, but let's just talk about 2 specific ones, which are Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Arsenal, of course, and Dries Mertens from Napoli. And yeah, let's just talk about that, because also yesterday or this morning, I think, it came out that Chelsea are apparently, willing to sign, or want to sell, rather than willing to sell, Michy Batshuayi, because he's kind of used up his last chance this season, didn't perform as well as we would have liked, and now basically his time has come to leave the club. So, that makes the whole signing a new striker even more, logical and needed, I guess. So let's talk about Aubameyang and Dries Mertens. Of course, both of them have their pros and their cons. I also did a Twitter poll, to see who Chelsea fans would prefer for us to sign. I will, show you the results of that poll later on screen. But let's just talk about the two players. Of course, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, currently at Arsenal. He's almost 31 years old. Will turn 31 very soon. Of course, very much so Premier League experienced and very much so Premier League proven. I mean, he's one of the Premier League top goal scorers, this season, if we still want to call it that, with a team that's, where are Arsenal, 9th or something? So that in itself is crazy. But he could, in theory, be hindering Tammy Abraham, his development. He also would probably come with very big wages, to move within London, to move to a bigger club. See what I did there? I actually didn't do that on purpose, but, it's true. To come to a club where he can actually play Champions League football, because that ain't happening at Arsenal, let's be honest now. That ain't happening. And also, of course, we would have to pay a transfer fee to Arsenal, even though reports are saying that he might only cost us like £30 million or so. Not sure whether I believe that. But, that's, the just quick pros and cons about Aubameyang. Well, Dries Mertens is almost 33 years old, so 2 years older, but he is also a lot more versatile. You can play him up front, you can play him as almost a false line, you can play him on the wing as well. He's more than capable of it. I know Aubameyang played on the wing under especially Arteta at Arsenal for the second half of the season, but no. If we sign Aubameyang, not having him on the wing, that's just not happening. I'm not accepting it. That's not good enough. No, no, absolutely not. Mertens is most certainly a valid option, both at winger and up front. It is brilliant. Also, a positive to Dries Mertens is that he would be a free agent, if that even, remains to be the case, because, there is still very much so a big possibility that he just signs a new contract with Napoli. But if he doesn't sign a new contract with Napoli, he would be a free agent, making him, of course, cheaper. Of course, his wages would go up a little bit and his sign-on fee, but certainly he would overall be much cheaper than, Aubameyang, of course. But he's also not Premier League proven. He's, of course, Champions League proven. Even this season scored 5 goals and 1 assist in 6 games in the Premier League, in the Champions League in the group stage. But the Premier League is a very different kettle of fish, especially at this age. Like I said, he is older, 2 years older. Again, the quick pros and cons. But then, would he be better for Tammy Abraham? Now, let's just talk about this in a bigger picture. I think we can all agree that Aubameyang is the much better player right now. I think that we can all agree that Aubameyang would get us more goals next season if we signed him. But I think there is more to look at. First of all, would signing Aubameyang or Dries Mertens, either of them, be the difference in us challenging for the league, let alone winning it, or not? I don't think so. I don't think just signing Aubameyang will make us good enough to actually challenge Liverpool or Man City. I don't think so. But neither will Dries Mertens, obviously. I mean, Dries Mertens is older. not Premier League proven, doesn't score 20 goals a season, and especially not in a Premier League. But then you have to look at Tammy Abraham. Now, for me, Tammy is 21, 22 years old. And if we sign Aubameyang, Tammy would be second choice striker. Let's just admit that and accept that fact. Tammy Abraham would be second choice striker if Chelsea were to sign Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Why can't I say Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang? It's a very easy name to say. Don't know why I'm struggling today. Anyway, let's keep going. And do we want that? That is the question. Of course, yeah, Aubameyang would help us for the next 1 or 2 seasons to score more goals. But would we actually be near, winning the league within the next 1 or 2 seasons? I personally very much doubt it. Certainly not next season, maybe the year after, depends on how next season will go. But I still personally very much doubt it, especially unless, Liverpool and Man City both stop improving, which I don't see them doing, to be honest. I don't see them doing that, whether that's both on the transfer market and just with their players and their squad, along with their coaches, of course. And is that then worth it? Isn't it better to say in 3 or 4 years we would be ready to challenge them, and then we don't have the striker ready because Aubameyang will be too old, we will have sold him. And rather than having a fully ready, properly in his prime Tammy Abraham, and there is a properly class striker in Tammy Abraham, in my opinion, wouldn't it be better to have him ready, rather than him still not be ready because he didn't play enough games, and then have to sign another striker if we actually want to challenge Liverpool and Man City? Maybe. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm going to have pros and cons for both options here, both Aubameyang and Dries Mertens. But then you also have the case of, couldn't Tammy learn a lot from Aubameyang? They're very different strikers because Tammy's nowhere near as fast as Aubameyang, even though they're both fairly tall. Tammy's still much taller, but still. Could he learn from him? I'm sure he could. But is that really going to be as effective and worth as much as just being our starting striker through this transitional period that the club is going through in, massively, youngstening the squad, which we've been doing for the last year especially, and that will just continue with the likes of Billy Gilman, probably Pedro, Willian, etc. leaving. That will just make the squad younger. So isn't this time of transition, isn't this exactly the time where you just stick with Tammy and wait for him to get better and hit his prime? Because strikers very, very rarely at this young age that he is at perform at the peak level. I mean, he still scored 15 goals all season, 13 of those in the Premier League. It's still not bad. It's certainly not bad, and especially with our best wingers being injured for, won't say a large part of the season, but a big chunk of the season anyway. I think maybe we should just give him the chance, and that is what Dries Mertens offers us. Especially if Batshuayi and one or both of the wingers in Willian and Pedro do leave, and even if we do try to get Sancho or not, even if we do try to get another winger, he's an option for 2 positions, which is a big deal. You could argue as a number 10 as well, if we do play a 4-2-3-1. So he's even an option for 3 positions, which Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang certainly isn't. And he would allow Tammy to remain that, first choice striker. But he would also allow Tammy sometimes sit out a game if he's just not performing. And, Lampard just needs to show him, you can't keep going like this. Because some opponents just wouldn't be the perfect opponent for Olivier Giroud, who is, hasn't officially, but pretty much officially, because everyone but the club has stated so, extended his contract with Chelsea, because Chelsea just had the option to extend his contract by a year. So that's happening. Giroud is probably staying, unless we just did that to sell him for money, rather than letting him go for free as a free agent. But wouldn't that be better for Tammy, being the starting striker for most of the season, and then in some games Giroud plays up front, in some games Mertens plays up front, and then Mertens can also replace a Pulisic, a Hudson-Odoi, a Ziyech, and whoever else can possibly come in for the wing, and Mertens could just play wherever he's needed, and he can certainly be a good player in all of those positions. Wouldn't that almost be better? You can see the Twitter poll now. The people that voted, over 1,000 votes still, was very clearly in favour of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. But then I'm not sure, did they just want to do this to piss off Arsenal fans? Of course, that's a pro for Aubameyang. It's funny. He didn't win fuck all with them. If we signed him and, he won stuff with us, it would just be hilarious. Another one in the list of, Ashley Cole, Cesc Fabregas and many others as well. It would just be brilliant. Let's be honest, it would be funny. And that is a pro. But is that worth it? Like I said, yeah, it would be great if we had a striker next season that scores 20, 22, 23 goals. That'd be great. We haven't had that since Diego Costa. But would it make us win the league? No. Do I think we'll finish top 4 whether we have Tammy or Aubameyang? I personally do. Well, whether we sign Aubameyang or Mertens, I think we'll make top 4 next season regardless of that. So what difference does it really make? Not that much. Yeah, okay, we'll have a striker that scores a lot of goals. But I think it's more important to look at the future, and Aubameyang at almost 31 years of age is not the future. And right now we are winning the league. Right now we are winning the Champions League. Whether we have Aubameyang or not, it's irrelevant. Almost irrelevant. We're not going to win those things. And by the time that we could be ready, and Tammy might be ready, Aubameyang will be too old and then Tammy wouldn't be ready. So do you get where I'm coming from? I do hope so. I do strongly hope so. Of course, there's other suggestions like Raul Jimenez from Wolves, who's a brilliant striker. Be very expensive though, but he's a brilliant striker. But he's too young, you know. We're in this path now. We're on this path with Frank Lampard and the squad and the academy. We want to, you know, build on this. Yeah, of course, not solely. And you know, while Roman Abramovich has invested a lot of money into the Chelsea academy over the years, and I'm sure that he wants to see those products be used in the squad and those products, those academy products, you know, to help us win trophies. If some of them aren't good enough, then of course we need to invest in the market. But I still very much so believe that Tammy Abraham can be good enough. But he's just very young. You know, you can't always compare it to like a little winger, you know, that's just like quick and, you know, has good feet and skillful and, you know, has good crossing, some good positioning. Being a striker is a bit more difficult. And being a striker in the Premier League against centre-backs like Virgil van Dijk, against, you know, some of the best centre-backs in the world, is not that simple. Do you know what I mean? It's not that simple, and it's very, very rare that strikers hit their prime that early in their career. It's very, very rare. So I still think we should trust Tammy. I personally think we should trust Tammy. And yeah, of course, there's other mentions like Moussa Dembele from Lyon. If that could happen, maybe that's a shout. Again, similar age to Tammy, so is that worth it? But he would be more of a long-term investment than Aubameyang would be. And okay, maybe Tammy would be ready in 3 or 4 years when the squad would be ready to win the league, but maybe Dembele would be. Or if you could look at someone like Timo Werner, whether Liverpool would get him or not, who knows? Whether he will even leave Leipzig, whether we could get him or not, that would be a different kind of signing. But if we're just talking about Aubameyang and Mertens, the better player is Aubameyang. It would be funny because Arsenal, and it would help us more next season, but I still don't think it would be enough for us to win the league, for us to win the Champions League. Maybe, yeah, it could help us win the FA Cup and shit. Great. And I would love to win the FA Cup. But I would much rather be able to win the Premier League in 3 or 4 years with Tammy Abraham up front than in 3 or 4 years realise, okay, all of the squad is ready except the striker position, and then we have to sign a striker for 200 million. And then who knows whether we will be willing to spend that much money, whether there will be anyone available. We'll just put ourselves in a tricky situation. And I think trusting Tammy in this one is better. So I would actually argue that Mertens is more important, you know. Use those funds that we would use on Aubameyang, even though we could certainly afford him, especially if we get rid of Pedro, Willian and Batshuayi. We could certainly afford him, but I would much rather, you know, just put those funds just in wages to Mertens, you know, obviously less wages as well, doesn't require a transfer fee, and allows us to sign more players elsewhere, possibly a centre-back, a left-back, a winger, you know, possibly Jadon Sancho, possibly someone else. I think that's more important than the striker position right now. If we can get Mertens, have Tammy Abraham and keep Olivier Giroud, we have 3 very different options as strikers. We have one clear number 1 in Tammy that can also be dropped now and again for 2 very different types of strikers in Giroud and Mertens, and, you know, give him competition enough, in my opinion. Because Aubameyang, Tammy wouldn't be real competition for Aubameyang. Let's be honest now. As much as Arsenal fans would love this and me saying so clearly that Aubameyang is better, obviously he is. Obviously he is. And I don't think that would be the best for the path that Chelsea's on right now. Like 2 years ago, I might have said, yeah, of course, go for Aubameyang. But we're on this path now with Reece James, Ruben, Mason Mount, Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic even, you know, Tammy Abraham, Tomori. With all of these young players, we're on this path now. Why stop this path to sign a 31-year-old striker now? I personally wouldn't think it's the best idea. But yeah, guys, I think that's been it from me. Like I said in the beginning, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. That'd be massively appreciated. Really, really would be massively appreciated. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video and leave me all of your thoughts on the whole matter down in the comment section below. I'm pretty sure I will at some point have put a poll up there with the I button where you can choose between Aubameyang and Dries Mertens yourselves. Ideally, you will have voted only after I've spoken about all of it because, you know, I think I made some very valid points. But if you disagree, that's fair enough. And then let me know down in the comment section below. You know, that'd be very interesting for me to see. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chels. Do appreciate all of you guys that have tuned in. And I'll see you when I see you.